Have you ever wondered how the men who stood by Jesus lived and died? Discover the incredible stories of the 12 apostles, true pillars of Christianity. They left behind their ordinary lives to embark on a journey of faith and dedication that would change the world forever. From fishermen to spreaders of Jesus' word, each apostle had a unique path, marked by sacrifices, courage, and unwavering faith. In this special video, we reveal the mysteries behind the deeds of figures like Peter, Andrew, James, and others, exploring the various traditions and historical accounts surrounding their faiths. You will be amazed by the stories of devotion and extreme challenges these men faced, from persecution to tragic deaths for their faith. The 12 apostles of Jesus Christ, with humble origins as fishermen, peasants, and craftsmen, played a crucial role in the early days of Christianity, abandoning everything to follow Jesus. After the death and resurrection of Christ, they were responsible for spreading the gospel, facing challenges and persecutions, often resulting in tragic deaths. Peter, one of the most prominent apostles, is known to have been persecuted in Rome during the hostility against Christians under the rule of Emperor Nero around 64 AD. He became a central figure in the Christian community in Rome, where he faced the height of persecution. Captured during this period, the most well-known tradition about Peter's death indicates that he was sentenced to crucifixion. However, feeling unworthy to die like Jesus, he reportedly requested to be crucified upside down. This representation of Peter, crucified inverted, is a powerful symbol of his faith and humility. There are no detailed historical records of the exact manner of his death, but the narrative of the inverted crucifixion is widely supported by ancient sources and writings of theologians and Christian historians from the 3rd century. This death is seen as Peter's ultimate sacrifice for his faith in Christ, highlighting him as a fundamental leader of the Christian church and a martyr who paid the ultimate price for his devotion to the gospel. His death story serves as a reminder of the commitment and courage required of the early Christians in the face of adversity and persecution. The death of Andrew, one of the 12 apostles of Jesus Christ and the brother of Peter, is marked by his courage and faith in the face of great suffering. According to Christian tradition, Andrew faced a painful death in the region of Achaia, Greece, during the persecution of Christians by Emperor Nero. During his life after the ascension of Christ, Andrew dedicated himself to preaching the gospel, especially in Greece. In Patras, Achaia, he met his tragic end. Known as one of the earliest followers of Jesus, Andrew was sentenced to crucifixion. Like Peter, he considered himself unworthy to die in the same way as Jesus, and therefore requested to be crucified on a cross in the shape of an X, later known as the Cross of St. Andrew. This form of crucifixion, slower and more painful, reflects the great suffering Andrew was willing to endure for his faith. During his crucifixion, Andrew showed remarkable strength of spirit. Even on the way to death, he remained courageous and encouraged those around him to keep faith in Jesus Christ. The death of Andrew is a symbol of the resilience and commitment of the early followers of Jesus, who endured persecution and painful deaths while remaining faithful to their beliefs. The cross of St. Andrew has become a recognized religious symbol, representing sacrifice, humility, and the strength of the Christian faith. James. The death of James, also known as James the Greater, one of the 12 apostles of Jesus Christ and the brother of John, is an example of extreme suffering for the faith. He was the first among the apostles to face death, and this is recorded in the Acts of the Apostles in the Bible. According to biblical accounts and church traditions, James was executed by order of Herod Agrippa around the year 44 AD in Jerusalem. The Bible describes in Acts of the Apostles 12:1-2 that Herod had James, the brother of John, killed with the sword, which is generally understood as a beheading, a common execution method at the time. James, formerly a fisherman with his brother John and Peter, was one of the closest apostles to Jesus, present at crucial moments like the Transfiguration. After the ascension of Jesus, he played a significant role in spreading the gospel. His death marked a pivotal moment in the early church's history, being the first occasion when one of the original apostles was killed because of his faith. This event also initiated a series of persecutions against Christians in Jerusalem and other regions of the Roman Empire. The death of James the Greater is remembered as an example of courage and faith, representing the high price that early Christians were willing to pay for their beliefs and dedication to Christ's teachings. John! The death of the Apostle John stands out among the disciples of Jesus because, unlike the others, it is believed that he died of natural causes rather than suffering a violent death due to his faith. John, often called the beloved disciple in the New Testament, played a significant role in the early Christian communities and is considered the author of several books in the New Testament, including the Gospel of John and the Book of Revelation. According to Christian traditions, after the ascension of Jesus, John spent time in Ephesus, Asia Minor. Later, he was exiled to the island of Patmos, where he received apocalyptic visions. After his release, he returned to Ephesus, where he continued his ministry. A curious story about John in Christian tradition involves a failed attempt to assassinate him in Ephesus, from which he miraculously survived. His peaceful death is seen as a testimony to his special closeness to Jesus and his significant role in establishing the Christian church. Philip. The death of the Apostle Philip, one of the 12 apostles of Jesus Christ, is a topic surrounded by uncertainty and variation among traditions and historical sources. Philip played a crucial role in spreading the gospel in the early years of the Christian church. One of the most common versions of Philip's death suggests that he suffered a tragic end for his faith. According to some church traditions, he may have been crucified. Other sources indicate possible alternative forms of death, such as stoning or hanging. These accounts vary and are found in various ancient sources and ecclesiastical writings. Philip is recognized for his mission to spread the gospel in places like Asia Minor, Phrygia, and Hierapolis. The lack of precise details makes it difficult to confirm exactly how his death occurred. Regardless of how he died, Philip's legacy as one of the apostles who laid the foundation of Christianity is clear. His life and efforts are an example of the dedication and commitment of the early followers of Christ in spreading his teachings. Bartholomew. The death of Bartholomew, one of the 12 apostles of Jesus Christ, is a story of extreme devotion and sacrifice, as described in various Christian traditions, although the exact details vary. Also known as Nathanael in some biblical texts, Bartholomew is primarily remembered for enduring a brutal death due to his faith, highlighting the intense persecution early Christians faced. One of the most widely accepted versions of Bartholomew's death claims that he was killed in Armenia, where he was engaged in significant missionary work. According to this tradition, Bartholomew was flayed alive and then beheaded, a particularly cruel execution method that exemplified the great sacrifice the apostles were willing to make for their faith. There are also reports suggesting other locations and forms of death for Bartholomew, including the possibility of crucifixion or other violent deaths. The narrative of his death by flaying followed by beheading is the most well-known and is often depicted in Christian art, symbolizing his determination and courage in the face of a terrible fate. Despite different accounts of Bartholomew's end, there is a consensus that he was a tireless propagator of the gospel and a vivid example of the apostles' commitment to the spread of Christ's teachings, even under extreme persecution. You have watched the first part of this exciting video, exploring the lives and legacies of the 6 apostles of Jesus Christ. Now get ready to dive even deeper into their inspiring stories and the lessons we can draw from them. Don't miss the second part of this video that promises to enrich your understanding and faith. Click here to continue watching and deepen your connection with these remarkable disciples of Christ.